Welcome to this live stream about Lyran Avians, where we're going to be connecting directly to a very little known galactic race of the Lyrans, and explaining all about the society. You experience their language, you experience the frequency. So welcome.
Welcome, everybody. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes. All good.
Okay, we're all technically correct, and we were sorting some stuff out behind the scenes. But welcome everybody for joining us here today for a very, very special live transmission. And where are we streaming today, Ria? Which platforms?
We're streaming on YouTube and we're streaming on Facebook. Consider sharing this transmission. It will be an energetic transmission and an opportunity to meet a race of beings that are very beautiful, that we've worked with on numerous occasions, but we have not really brought a dedicated transmission just about this race. We've done it within our membership group, the Quantum Club, and we have also done some activations within the Starseed energy updates that we release every month. But for the first time, we are dedicating a whole live stream to this beautiful race of beings because there's very little about them online. So you won't find much about Lyran Avians in the online space. You will not find much Starseed characteristics. So if you're a Lyran Starseed, please listen up, because there will be both an outline of what Lyran Starseeds are like, what they bring to the Earth, and also an activation. Just Aaron, I just ask you if you can maybe turn my sound down. There's like a bit of something in the background, so that's
just so I can hear it. That's all.
Maybe. There we go.
Okay.
Yeah, awesome. So first of all, let me know, guys, in the comments. Are any of you familiar with the Lyrans in general? Because we want to lay something out which is very important, which is what are the Lyrans, and a little bit about both Lyran races, because there is a very well-known race of Lyrans, and when people say about Lyrans, they usually think about the feline race, but that's only part of the truth. We work with the felines too, me more than Aaron, but there are both Lyran races. So are you familiar with both? Are you just maybe familiar with one? Let us know where you are, and let's keep this going.
Just so you know, Ria, I can't see any of the comments that are coming up, so you're going to have to manage the comments.
Okay. Yeah. Anders, the member of the conference work, says both. That doesn't surprise me. Same with Simona. Laris is just the name. Okay, well, today you're going to meet the frequency beyond just the name. So, Aaron, maybe if we could start by explaining the difference and the similarity between the avians and felines. We've met both Lyran races, and yeah, let's just talk about what they are.
Well, they're very different. I would say, you know, the only similarities that I see, that they've got humanoid bodies, and that they are star races. That's the kind of only similarities. Other than that, they're very, very different. And so, I was just wondering if you'd frozen then for a second, but then I saw you blink, and so I can see that you haven't frozen. But basically, I'm going to give you my understanding of this, and I can't comment on anybody else's consciousness because I'm not inside anybody else's head. I can only give you the benefit of this and how I experience it. So I'll start with the Lyran Avians. And the Lyran Avians are where humanity, we are related genetically to the Lyran Avians. This is basically the Lyrans, or we stem from Lyra. This is where we come from. Lyra was, and the Lyran Avians were involved in, or what now are the Lyran Avians, were involved in the Orion Wars. They were right at the start of that, before the other races began to get involved. Their planet is, nowadays, their planet is sensational. How I see it in my consciousness are rolling sort of fields of agriculture, crisp, clean air, blue sky, very, very clean environment. I see a wonderful, wonderful society. I see lots of stone monuments of birds and this kind of thing. if I'm honest, like there's not much information out there online, so it's a pleasure to bring you this sort of information and share it with you. If I had to pick a planet, even though I'm from Arcturus, and that's sort of my home planet, if you like, and obviously, you know, I'm always going to have a soft spot for Arcturus because that's where I came from, and especially the Arcturians. However, out of all the planets that I've seen in my consciousness, if I was given the choice, I could go and live on Lyra today on that planet because it looks absolutely amazing. I love their culture, I love their society, and it's just a beautiful place. It's you know, and that's one of the reasons why the Orion Wars kicked off, because it was such an abundant,
I just want to add to
place.
it. My own experience of this planet, it's just so beautiful that, you know, usually when we conduct individual client sessions or when we conduct the group classes within the Quantum Club, we always connect to races for a purpose. So we go there, I don't know, to channel some galactic consciousness technology codes, or to bring the codes for abundance, or to connect people with the guides. We're always doing something for a purpose. When it comes to Lyran Avians, I just like to hang around them. I'm just like to put my consciousness there and just hang in the frequency. And I remember this one session when we were, I think, in the Quantum Club, and we were doing the Lyran Avian session, and everybody had like a free time to explore the planet. And I just sat there under one of them bird monuments. I was eating an apple in my consciousness. I just sat there. I just love the frequency so much. And guys, today, by the end of this transmission, you will taste this frequency. We're going to bring it so you can meet them. So I'm just catching here with the comments as well. Lydia, who is a Lyran Avian, Starseed says, I have a moment for Facebook, so stop here. Lydia, this is for you. You display a lot of avian features, and we talk about the Starseed features for Lyran Avians. I know you. We've worked together, and yeah, it's a beautiful frequency. Michelle says, "How do you know where your soul comes from?"
Can I talk?
Yay!
Yeah. Okay. Yes, and by the way, I was just on private chat, not on comments. I've clicked on comments, I can see them now. So happy days. We're on the same page. So yes, I think, is that Michelle or Michael? I apologize. Michael. I'm really, really sorry. I've got glasses on, but forgive my eyesight. Michael. How do you know where your soul comes from? So all of us stem from what's called source. So we're all created at source, right? Each and every single one of us. And then we go around this kind of different incarnations, sometimes terrestrial here on Earth, sometimes extraterrestrial. However, if you were an Arcturian, you would consider people from Earth extraterrestrials, wouldn't you? So, you know, at some point, we've all been extraterrestrials, you know? So where does your soul come from? First of all, we come from source. However, you would have come here from potentially, not always, because you may have had, your last lifetime may have been terrestrial. I would need to read you to discover that. I'm not reading anybody here, by the way. I know I'm sort of psychic and I have to explain this stuff. For me, it's like common sense, but I do have
but when you say you're a psychic, people think that you read their minds. It's not like that. Only if you want to.
Assume that I'm always reading people, and I have to say, look, I'm not reading you. I'm not reading anybody here, right? I'm just saying that you may have had a terrestrial past lifetime, in which case your last one was here on Earth, but you may have come from a star system. You might have been an extraterrestrial. You might have been one of the races of light. And so your soul family, let's say, is going to be one of these galactic races. And if you came here as a starseed, you agreed to give up on that life and to come here to serve. And everybody who's come here as a starseed came here to contribute. We didn't come to sort of ride it out on Earth because we thought, you know what, that looks like a good place where my soul can grow and evolve. We've come here to serve and contribute. And so where your soul comes from, your last lifetime, could be a past life here on Earth, or it could be a different galactic race.
Okay, so this was a question for the wizard, and now there's a question for a Syrian geek. So that was Michelle, I think, male, and that was Michelle, female. So thank you, Michelle, for helping us here and asking some absolutely excellent questions. So Michelle says, I understood from many planets in the cradle of Lyra blew up millions of years ago. I didn't understand Lyra to be a planet but a constellation. Where do they live now? Fantastic remark. And this is actually quite there is like a consciousness shortcut or vocabulary shortcut, people say. Lyra is not a planet, to be fair.
It's a whole system.
Lyra is a constellation of planets. Within the Lyra constellation, we have the main brightest star, which is called Vega. And around Vega, we've got a system of planets, but I feel like, I'm not sure, again, this is astronomy more than us, that Vega is known to have exoplanets, so like a solar system, just like us. And it will be one of these planets. However, is it even in our third dimension? It's probably not. So that's what it is. But I feel like this question is really important because we often say Arcturus on Arcturian. Oh, Arcturians are on Arcturus. Well, no, not on Arcturus. They are on a planet that revolves around Arcturus, which is a star. And what we, as humans, why we called humans? Because of humus, or humus from Latin, it's earth. The earth substance is like the soil, humus. And we call ourselves humans. Well, if we were using the same logic, we would, like with Lyran, we would call ourselves, I don't know, Milky Wayans, or maybe if we use the same logic as with Arcturus, we would call ourselves Solarians. So just bear in mind that our human names, all these kind of star races, are just human names. This is just our human way of understanding this, but they don't call themselves that. But, you know, beyond the names, we will look into frequency, because when you start operating the quantum field and dealing with galactic races, all these human concepts, names, intricacies, they don't really matter. What it does matter is the frequency. But there's one more question from, I think that's Bonnie, which is also very important, because when we talk about Lyran Avians, first of all, we need to distinguish them from Lyran Felines. But then there is another thing that like very often is mixed up, which is Blue Avians and Lyran Avians. Again, there are two totally different races. Do you want to talk about Blue Avians a bit?
Yeah, I will. There was just one final point of the previous question. I just want to just touch on, and then this is Bonnie, right? Behold, is Bonnie. Is that right? This is Bonnie who's asked the question here.
This question is Bonnie, but previous question was Michelle.
Yeah, that's fine. So to answer just to touch on a previous point of the previous question, there was the Draco blew up 4 planets in the Lyran system. So when you're talking about those planets that got destroyed millions of years ago, there were 4 that got destroyed at the start of the Orion War. So you're probably referring to that. Just wanted to point that out. So in relation to Bonnie's question here, there's massive difference, completely different race, completely different dimension. Completely different dimensions. So if you're first, I don't think I've ever connected to you on sort of via a one-to-one session. However, I can say with confidence that if your first lifetime was Blue Avian, you have got this frequency of unconditional love within you. There's a harmony and there's a balance between the feminine and the masculine. And anybody who holds, if your first lifetime was as a Blue Avian, then you hold this grid work and this frequency within you, and it's lovely. It's really nice. It's harmony, it's balance, it's unconditional love. Anybody who's got Blue Avian frequency is great to be around. They're very, very high vibrational, very, very positive. So yeah, honestly, thank you for bringing that frequency to Earth. It's amazing. But they're 2 very different races. So one the Lyran Avians look completely different. So they're humanoid, so they've got kind of human-looking skin. They've then got different coloured wings, depending what their specialism was. I didn't say that at the start. We kind of got sidetracked. But depending what your specialism is, as in how you express yourself, we would say your expertise or your career, you would say, here on Earth. Although I'm not talking the economy, but there's no, they don't do things for pay and salaries like the economy here on Earth. But when I talk about specialism, it's what people specialize in, whether it's medicine, whether it's education, whether it's whatever. And depending what sort of specialism they're in, depends on what color wings they have. So that's the avians, and they're amazing, by the way. We are genetically linked to the avians. The Lyran Avians, sorry. The blue avians come from a different dimension. They have got these striking blue feathers. So they're kind of humanoid bodies covered in these blue feathers with a bird head around like this. And I think from memory, they come from like the 8th dimension or something like this, but it's much higher. The Arcturians are residing in the 5th, for instance. The Lyran Avians are here in the 3rd, so you can see their system up in the sky. So if you were to look up in the night sky and look at Vega, as Ria's pointed out, is the star, so that's the equivalent of our sun. And around that, I think it's the 5th brightest star in the night sky is Vega. And you can look at this. All this stuff is, you can Google it or whatever search engine you're using. It's the 5th brightest star in the night sky, and surrounding that in a big solar system is the Lyran system. So you can look up at that in a night sky on a clear night and look where the Lyran Avians are. That's where they reside.
However, there's a point here, which is from Michelle, and this is actually true. It says, I didn't realize the Lyra constellation was inhabited again. Actually, they've moved the planet. So they derive from Lyra, but I don't believe that they're still there in that constellation. I don't even know where they are exactly. It feels like they've moved planets, especially the
I would need to feel into that. For me, it feels like that's the original place. However, I'm happy to look into that. I'm happy to connect again and see what comes through. But my understanding and my feeling is that they're in the same place. But I may be wrong. I don't know. I'd have to connect and find out.
Yeah, the thing is, for us, all these, when we connect to the galactic races, we connect for purposes of frequency. We're not walking encyclopedias, and we're not astronomers either. So this is not really our area of specialism. So if we get things wrong in the astronomical sense, then forgive us, because this is not what we're about. We're about connecting to various frequencies of various races and what that frequency can do to this planet, Earth. So, guys, sometimes as starseeds, it can be something along the lines of looking for fun facts or looking for lists or just curiosity. And that's fine. Curiosity is a great frequency to have. But I am very much into practicality. So it's like, what does it change in your life? Because we can be here theoretizing about which constellation, what they call.
I don't think it's important. It's not important, really, is it? It doesn't matter.
Yeah. What does matter to us is the frequency which you're gonna feel, which we're gonna bring, because there's a very important feature of Lyran Avian frequency is the frequency of freedom. And just as Arcturian frequency has this feature of unconditional love built in, just as the Blue Avian frequency has a frequency of divine union, of balance of masculine and feminine, the Lyran Avian frequency is a frequency of freedom, flow, creativity. And this is something that we don't know on this planet in its full extent. Yes, we've got flow. Yes, we've got creativity. Yes, we live in creative states. So we've got artists who are the salt of this earth and who make this third dimension all the more bearable and pleasurable. And we have states when we feel free. For Lyran Avian Race, freedom is a state of being. It's a constant state. So it is like that kind of frequency of being always in a state of flow, freedom. And it has to do with wings, which we have genetically lost. We derive from many different races. The human DNA comes from many different races, but the Lyran DNA is the most prevalent. But we have lost a very important feature. We have lost our wings. I mean, if you look at Lyran Felines, we also have lost our tails. We don't go around wagging like a cat's tail, which the Lyran Felines have.
You can feel. I would advise everybody reach round and feel your bum and feel that like lump there where the tail used to be, right?
And so shoulder blades,
and
where the wings would have come from.
And feel your shoulder blades like this. And what are shoulder blades? You can feel a lump there. It's no different to the tail. You can feel a lump at the back here, and that's where the wings came out.
That's where the wings used to be. Yeah. So Lyran Avians have these beautiful, beautiful wings. But it's almost like at the moment, when we connect to different races, what you have to also understand is we can connect to different moments in time. So, for example, I remember once at the beginning of when we were starting to run Quantum Club almost 2 years ago, we connected to Lyran, to Blue Avians, and we connected to them in a history, like in their past. It's not the same timeline, but you can connect to them at the moment, and they're different. With Lyran Avians, at the moment, the wings are more like almost like a display piece. They don't use them because they have to use them. It's like us, we go walking for the pleasure of going walking. But unless you live really close, you probably will take a car to work or a subway or wherever you do. So for them, wings are like that. However, what they haven't lost is what they use for frequency. And it's really, really interesting what Christine is saying. Maybe Isis, the Egyptian goddess, was Lyran. She manifested physical wings in her lifetime. I know that Isis had a connection with her Syrian iteration, with her Syrian self. But wouldn't surprise me if she was more than one race. But Isis, a lot of, I think, what we worship as gods, or what we used to worship as gods, were different galactic beings, were the kind of mentors of our civilization. And, probably the powers that they had for humans thousands of years ago were considered something supernatural. So I want to put one more comment here from Simona. So actually, once I meditated, I felt how my body turns in feline being. My face became a cat face and I had a tail. So yeah, that's that connection. We all connected. We're all connected to all sorts of things. So a little bit about Lyran Avian Society. Any fun facts, Aaron, that you can share?
Happy to. They live in communities, and the way that these communities are structured, it's all about like social cohesion, everybody getting along together. And so there are communal eating areas. And so, like on Earth, and there's subtle differences to how we live. Like they're eating vegetables and, similar kind of produce to they've got a similar climate, you see, and similar soil and stuff.
They don't eat chicken.
Or duck or beef or whatever. I don't know. They don't have cheeseburgers, I'll tell you that. That's kind of... so maybe I would miss that if I went to Lyra. Maybe I'd have to take my own. I don't know. Maybe they wouldn't let me in if I brought cheeseburgers. I don't know. Anyway, I'm joking. But they would kind of eat together. And so what's really, really cool is like on Earth, we all kind of go... love you too, Corey. Basically, when on Earth, we all kind of go inside of our own homes and we all eat separately, right? There are exceptions to this. So if you ever go to Singapore, you will see everybody living in these high-rise blocks, okay? And inside these high-rise apartment blocks, and Singapore is full of them, like thousands of these high-rise blocks. People live in high-rise, that's how they live. And there's no kitchens in the high-rise because...
I mean, there are kitchens, but they're very basic.
Okay. Well, having a kitchen is an absolute luxury, right? So it's something that most people don't have. And what they would have at the base of these big high-rise blocks is a communal eating area. And there are little kind of like street food and little places that you can get sort of cheap food. And everybody from the block sits within the same thing and they all eat together. And that's kind of, I'm not saying that everybody on Lyra lives in a high-rise block because there's no high-rise blocks. They've got their own houses and they've got families and this kind of thing. However, what's interesting is that they come and they all eat together and they break bread together. And it's all about social cohesion and everybody getting along.
For the reason that the social cohesion is very important, because if you bear in mind, in Lyra, they follow the line of the ancestors. They worship ancestors. They have, and many races do. Many races have great reverence to ancestors. This is something that they don't understand about as humans. I mean, we've just had in many countries, the All Saints Day or the Day of the Dead. In my home country, Poland, we still have a lot of reverence for the deceased. But in general, especially Western society is really departing from it. On Lyra, they really worship the birds who are the ancestors, and they really also have respect.
Can I just explain why they're into the ancestors, or just sorry, finish your point?
Yeah. So basically, on Lyra, you inherit the specialism through your genetics, and it's an honor to follow your parents and grandparents' footsteps. So my lifetime on Lyra, I was actually in a medical profession, and I was also like a lecturer on the university. And I know that I came from a family that were also specializing in it, and I remember I had a daughter that also followed my footsteps. So what Aaron was saying about the social cohesion is because otherwise the society will become very segmented, because everybody follows the line of specialism, not because they forced to, but because they feel like it's the right thing to do. So that's that social cohesion. So now, Aaron, you wanted to finish.
Yeah, so you covered it beautifully. Yeah, it's just the reason that the ancestors are revered is because all of the knowledge and specialism gets passed. That there's information within DNA, right? And so it's kind of I'll give you an example. Look at let's talk about soccer or foot. It's football for me because I'm kind of I'm from Europe. I'm from the UK. We call it football. I know you guys have American football, which is rugby with crash helmets on. So, but it's but I would say football, soccer, this kind of thing. So you've got played for Manchester United, Wayne Rooney, right, who's genetically gifted as a footballer. His son is he plays for the youth in Manchester United, is absolutely outstanding. And he's got the same gift that his dad's got. Where's he got this from? It's information passed down in the genetics. Same as Cristiano Ronaldo's, you've all heard of him, one of the most famous football players on the planet. His son is exceptional at football for his age. Why is that? Because that information, skill, and talent is passed down through DNA.
That often happens with artists and musicians. There's a whole family of music.
You just took the words out of my mouth. I was just about to say that. So let's say, for instance, you've got artists, you've got creatives, you've got people who are, the tradespeople, where you have the really skillful carpenters, and it's like father and son and such and such and such. They kind of tend to have the same tendencies. All this information is all passed down through DNA. It's just what we're taught in the West to kind of, and within sort of the system of society, it's taught to kind of just ram the elders into a home, forget about them, and you selfishly get on with your own life. However, it's kind of one of the reasons on Lyra why the ancestors are revered is because they're so very grateful for all the information and the skill and everything else that's passed down through DNA. Don't underestimate. And what happens is that as the information gets passed down through the generations, it gets stronger and stronger. And so it's something that they absolutely revere, and that's one of the reasons why they value the ancestors as much as they do.
And it's also something interesting because it's a very visible thing, because there is a visual display of your talent and specialism, and that comes with a wing color. And of course, you would probably ask. That's how we've asked. When we have the Quantum Club sessions, very often we do a channeled Q&A. For those of you who are Quantum Club members, you know, where you can ask all these curious questions. Like here, I think Brandy said that might be a fun topic in the future. What is the Egyptian gods and the galactic origins? Or Michelle says something about, okay, maybe Isis was a Lyran refugee because there was many refugees from the Lyran Orion wars that ended up in Sirius. So these kind of questions we always ask
I
directly
remember
to those racers.
the best question we've ever had, and I love questions because they just stretch my consciousness, and I always remember. I think it was somebody called Derek Bain. I'll remember his name and I remember the question.
Yeah, I
Derek
think we've
Bain,
got a session together.
yeah. Do spirit guides have spirit guides? That was the question. I was just like, oh my God, that's amazing. And it made me stress. And I was like, what an amazing question that is. Do spirit guides have spirit guides? I love his way of thinking. And it just made me stretch my consciousness in a way. And I went exploring and got the kind of answer. And I learned as a result of his question. So
Derek, if you're listening, thank you for a great
spirit
question.
guides
And everybody else with those questions that we don't know all the answers, but very often when we connect those galactic races, we can relay those questions and we can channel in the answers. So this is how we find all these pieces of information about the society, about the wing colors, about that. So question about the wing colors. So my first thing, and I think we've asked that during one of the channel Q&As, is like, well, but what what happens, do people not marry outside the kind of specialism? And conventionally they don't, because they feel like this strengthening the gene. However, love is beyond stuff, and it sometimes happens. And then what happens? Well, there's a dominant gene that basically then determines the child specialism. So there's all these intricacies, but we don't want to kind of bore you with it, although it is probably like fun facts. We want to bring it down to earth a little bit and talk about Lyran Avian Starseeds, because again, maybe you are a starseed, and maybe you will feel when we bring the frequency, maybe you will feel the energetic connection. But Lyran Avian Starseeds will not find the starseed traits in any of the lists. So what are these traits? First of all, Lyran Avians have certain restlessness about them, and not just Lyran Avian Starseeds, which by starseed I mean where was your last galactic lifetime, not the first one. The first one determines your personality even more, but where you answered the call to come to Earth. But you may have had a life as a Lyran Avian somewhere in the middle, somewhere at the beginning, somewhere at the end. I've had it somewhere in the middle. So last lifetime was Arcturian, first lifetime was the Akashic Keeper. Somewhere in the middle, there was a very prominent Lyran Avian lifetime. And that's why I'm very connected to them. I've got the guides, I speak the language and all of that. So with Lyran Avian Starseed, there's a certain restlessness and there's this drive for freedom. Freedom above anything. It's like the biggest value is freedom for you. And not for everyone, freedom is the biggest value. We all seem to think that we want freedom, but sometimes we like stability, for example. Lyran Avians are not so much about stability. Of course, they want to have a nest. That happens too. But like for a Lyran Feline Starseed, one of the biggest values is beauty, aesthetics. It's all this kind of like beautiful stuff. For the Arcturians, is usually unconditional love, and Arcturians have this childlike frequency. So basically, it's not that there is straight on starseed characteristics. It's more so that there is a certain frequency and certain values within a certain race. And those values are being passed down into you here and being displayed if you were starseed. It's a little bit like you have to take those values with a bit of a pinch of salt, because it's a little bit like, with national stereotypes. So, for example, everybody thinks that Germans are organized, but I can assure you that there will be Germans who are disorganized. I actually had a roommate who was like that. She was German. She was very disorganized. But generally, we think that, that is like organized. But it's the same with the Starseeds. So it's not like a hard and fast rules. I just want to indicate that. But for Lyran Avians, the freedom, the expression, the creativity is like everything. And they cannot be caged. So that is something that that I think is like a predominant feature of Lyran Avians. Another thing with Lyran Avians, very often, again, and this is a common trait between avians and felines, And I feel like sometimes those starseed traits really intensify the more you actually aware of it, the more you connect with your star family. And by the way, if you have not connected to your star family, we're going to leave in the comments a free activation, which is about connecting to your star family. Or you can remember it, bit.ly/galactic family. Oh no, sorry, maybe not. Forget it. Wrong link. I'll paste it in the comments. But if you connect to your star family, then those characteristics will become more pronounced. And for Lyran Avian, freedom is one of them. But there's also this certain love for beauty, for creativity, and for flow. You basically, I feel like if you are a Lyran Starseed, you also look for this creativity, for that spark. If something doesn't spark, you just won't do it. You basically will not, like, you will be like dying a death. You, as a Lyran Avian Starseed, it will be very difficult for you to do a mundane task or something that is like, that would just literally be killing your soul. If you're just doing a repetitive, routine.
Insurance.
Yeah.
Insurance. Yeah, that would be that would be a certain cast iron way to destroy the soul of a Lyran Avian Starseed.
But for example, like any kind of office, admin, organization, logistics, that is a great job for a Syrian.
Very good job for a Syrian. Anything that needs organizing, anything that needs or maybe house clearance or something like that, where you can kind of organize reality. Anything that they can systemize and improve, Syrian Starseeds absolutely love, So yeah, that's the Lyran Avians. How about giving them some information just quickly about the Lyran Felines, maybe, just so they can see the difference?
Yeah, the felines. The difference between Lyran Avians and Lyran Feline Starseeds is, Lyran Feline Starseeds. It's actually quite interesting because, hang on, I'm just going to put the banner. Lyran Feline Starseeds.
This is the Syrian. Which way am I going? This way. Syrian. That needs the banners to be correct. The banners need to be correct. So
no, that's the Syrian and the Akashic Keeper. Well, Syrians and Akashic Keepers have a lot in common. So if you're a Syrian Starseed, you're very progress orientated. You're very usually quite organized, but the organization to the nth degree, even beyond the Syrian organization, is an Akashic realm imprint, because Akashic realm is so perfect that basically nothing quite matches. So Akashic Keepers have to have a category for everything. And if you're an Akashic Keeper, you're listening to it, I just want to embrace you with all of my heart, because we take OCD to the next level, because we don't just organize physical reality. We organize all reality. That includes virtual reality and having a correct label on the live stream.
Yeah, Ria has got this imprint really, really strongly, and I'm quite chaotic when it comes to this thing. I don't need anything to be in a particular order. Yeah. And so I've got the professional mailbox, but I've also got a personal Gmail thing that I've never actually deleted a single email. I think I must have about 690 emails in the inbox, and even the thought of that drives Ria crazy, because she would just have an empty mailbox.
And Aaron has to protect his devices with a password, not because he's got something to hide.
No. So my phone, right on here, my phone, and I'm not going to do it because it unlocks by my face, right? But if somebody else, I have a passcode on this, and the reason that I introduced a passcode on it is, and by the way, Ria has access to all, because from time to time we've got to respond to each other's messages and stuff like that. So it's the reason that I've got a passcode on there is because I noticed that all of my phone was just getting reorganized, and I'd pick it up after like half an hour, and all the apps are in different locations, and I'm like, what the pictures are all in folders in date, and I'm just like, oh my god, it's driving me crazy. I've got, for my own sanity, I'm gonna have to put a passcode on there, and I'm not telling you what it is.
And enjoying your chaos.
It fixed it, right? Because now this phone is just kind of, it's just, I'm the only genius that understands my chaotic filing system, and it's okay. That's fine.
Yeah. Aaron's got a dragon imprint, which I think maybe we should do a live stream on all the different starseeds and the imprints. So that's something to do. I can see Melissa's here said that she's got a Syrian and a Akashic imprint. Goodness me,
it's the same thing.
I must say, must be quite organized even inside your head. Me too. Michelle says I have a category for everything. File systems are so important. So maybe you've been an Akashic keeper, Michelle. And also I feel like because you've got all these kind of curious questions, you said you're very curious, and you one more. So I know this is supposed to be about just Lyran Avian Starseed, but I'm sure that all sorts of Starseeds are listening to us. You've got, Michelle, you've got a really strong drive for truth and correctness. And I've got the same. I can't, like, Aaron's like, well, we don't have to be like super precise. It's okay. We like, if I say that wrong colored wings for whatever category of Lyra, it's not going to matter. For me, it matters. Truth matters. For an Akashic keeper, truth matters.
Hence the reason she changed the banner a second ago down there. So it said Lyran Feline instead of Lyran Avian. So it was correct.
Yes. Yeah. We're going to tell you about Lyran Feline Starseeds. Listen up, Lyran Feline Starseeds. And what with Lyran Feline, you've got a very interesting imprint and a natural knack for abundance. You just might have not discovered it, but you've got access to very strong abundance frequency. And in fact, I feel like there is a very it's been revealed to me that those Lyran Feline abundance frequency, Lyran Avian abundance frequency, is almost like two parts of the same whole. If you combine them, it's super, super potent. A lot of Lyran Feline Starseeds go into investment, cryptocurrency. Like I would say that probably every female cryptocurrency expert I know is a Lyran Feline Starseed. Abundance coaches, that is very much Lyran Feline. And also the other side for females is all the Kundalini activators, the pussy priestesses. Pussy, like, actually, the clue is in the name.
No pun intended. The Lyran Feline pussy priestesses, yeah. There we go.
Yeah, no pun intended, but it's that feminine imprint. So that's very often a Lyran characteristic. But what we want to say to you, it's basically someone's asking, how do we find out what starseed we are? Well, there's many ways of doing it. Connecting to frequency, feeling it, but the best way is the Akashic records. And Aaron's got, I think, 10 last starseed Akashic individual sessions left before he closes that.
There's not many. Off. There's not many left, is there? And yeah. I announced this on TikTok the other day, and I think I also announced it on Facebook. I'm not sure I've done it on YouTube. But from the 8th of December, I'm actually withdrawing my one-to-ones. Sadness. I've been doing them now for over 18 months, diligently every single week. And in 2023, I just feel called to work with people on more of a group coaching level. And if I'm working with people individually, it's going to be more of a mentoring sort of one-to-one 3-month process with different people. And so just because of time commitments, the one-to-one individual sessions I'm withdrawing from for sale on the 8th of December. So there's a few slots left if you want to grab one of the last ones before they get withdrawn. Piece of history. I'm able to do either work on your field in relation to the Akashic realm, rewire your field for your highest timeline. It's the deepest kind of energy work you would have ever done. Or there's the Starseed reading option, which I can go to your galactic block, tell you about your soul origin, where you came from, how many galactic lives, where you came from as a Starseed, all about your family, your life there, your specialism, terms within your soul contract, and all amazing stuff like that. Lasts about 90 minutes. bit.ly/one-to-one Aaron is the thing to get across for the Akashic. However,
for the Galactic is bit.ly Aaron Galactic, right? Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. If you put that in.
Yeah. So if anybody wants to grab one of the last spots.
One of
before...
the last ones ever before
Yeah.
they were drawn at the end of this year. Yeah. So, and I announced this sort of 3-4 days ago, and people have just kind of been snapping them up. There's still about 8 left, I think, across the whole of November and up to the 8th of December. If you want one and it resonates, go ahead and book.
Yeah, so we want to wrap this up with a Lyran Avian activation. But before we do, we just want to remind those of you who perhaps are not sure, and also tell those of you who maybe come across us for the first time, are curious, want to learn more, that we have got a workshop coming up, which is called the Quantum Portal for Starseeds, Lightworkers, and basically for you to connect directly to various galactic races, no matter whether this is the Lyran Felines, Lyran Avians. I can see there's a lot of Starseeds on this live stream, and probably there'll be more Starseeds watching it on the recording. If you're watching it before the 10th of November this year, 2022, then you can join the Quantum Portal. If you're watching it after, the recording will be available within the Quantum Club, because this whole Quantum Portal is a Starseeds and Earthseed workshop to learn how to get in and out of the quantum field, because the quantum field is like the gateway to all these higher dimensions. Practice connecting to various galactic races. Learn to how they unique and different. So in a second, you will feel the Lyran Avian frequency. I'll do an activation. I'm just going to take that banner out for a second, but there will be an activation in a second. Within the Quantum Portal, you will have many activations. You will feel different frequencies of what is the difference between, for example, Lyran Avian and Feline. Very similar, yet not the same. And you will also receive powerful upgrades and channeled activation. But most of all, we're going to teach you how to do it all yourself, how to understand dimensions, how to safely travel to different destinations within the quantum field. So this is happening all on the 10th of November. There will be 4 sessions live all day, starting with the basics, with the theory, quantum instruction, what is the quantum field, how to reach it with your consciousness, how to navigate your way around the field, how to open up to higher dimensions, and how to connect to those beings of light. Because we can be here till the cows come home, telling you all the fun facts about different races, but there's no equivalent for direct experience. So you don't have to then read Starseed trades lists and, you know, how to do this, how to do that, because you will connect yourself directly. So that is the theory. Then session 2 will be just in and out of the quantum field, connecting in and out, in and out, in and out. In session 3, we're going to do energetic shielding, because you need to be dressed for the occasion, so that, you know, there's not just beings of light in the quantum field. And in session 4, we give you a map to the quantum multiverse to understand dimensions, to see what are the safe travel destinations, different races you can connect to. And that is all happening within the Quantum Club, which is our membership classes, which we've got every single week on a Thursday, and which is also like a membership portal with direct access to over now 90 different sessions at this time today. Basically, as a Quantum Club member, you will be taught, but you will also experience elevating your consciousness to the quantum field, connecting to the light beings such as the Arcturians, the Sirians, the Lyrans, the Andromedas, the Pleiadians, the Orions, the Galactic Federation, as well as Lemurians and Atlanteans, if someone's an Earthseed. And you will literally learn to recognize the energetic signatures of different galactic races and work with them. So what's included in your membership is the access to what Aaron named the best Jedi School of Light in existence, index vault of 90 sessions recordings. You can binge on Lyran Avians, or you can binge on Arcturians, or you can binge on the Akashic Records. You have access to 4 live sessions every month, a beautiful, thriving community of Starseeds. There's now over 60 of us in there. Obviously, we fluctuate. Some people come in, some people come out. We've got some veterans who are very, very advanced souls who've been with us since the beginning. And you've got access to this beautiful community and our support in a private group, There's no contract. You can cancel anytime. So you can come for a month, stay for a few, whatever suits you. No ties, no bonds. And you obviously get access to this Quantum Portal live workshop. So you can join for a month. It's $111, quite a no-brainer, and you get access to live sessions for a month every single week, the live full-day Quantum Portal workshop, and also there is recordings of 2 previous workshops. One was with the Starseed initiation, the other one was the Dragon day recording.
Absolutely. And I think, you know, when you consider the longevity, we've been going for nearly 2 years now. And, you know, the reason that we created the Quantum Club was to fill a big space that was there. It was like a void. And it was to be sort of a resource that we never had when we were first developing. And it's a resource of such quality and caliber that there was nothing else out there that didn't cost, but at the time we were looking for something like that didn't cost tens of thousands of dollars. And so when you consider how many live sessions are recorded, there's over 90 plus, we're probably about 96 now, I think, at the time of recording here. 96, which probably represents about 120 or 130 hours worth of recorded content indexed in a vault, a thriving community, and literally no contract. And so, you know, we run a 5D business. And as such, we wanted everybody to be a member of the Quantum Club because you wanted to be there, not because you were contractually obliged. And so there's no contract. You can cancel at any time. People come along, they taste the quality, they taste the caliber of it, and they decide that they want to stay. And that's basically how we've designed it. $111 per month. If you were going into town and buying yourself a Starbucks coffee every day, you'd spend more on coffee per month than you would on that. And all of the value that you find in this is literally sensational. Nothing else like it. It's literally the best Jedi School of Light in existence. We also say that Thursday is the best day of the week because Thursday is Quantum Club Day.
And it's tomorrow. We've got actually a guest speaker tomorrow. So if you're interested in this full-day workshop, I've put the link below. If you're watching it on replay, you don't know where to find it. You can just let us know in the comment, I'm interested in the workshop, I'm interested in Quantum Club, and we'll respond with a link if that's need be. But we've got one more thing today for you here, which is lots of Quantum Club members saying that it's the best. Quantum Club is amazing.
It is
very wonderful to have for the ones that do not understand what's going on with themselves or ones that feels like no one understands. Yeah, so it's also a community. For, you know, because sometimes being a Starseed here is not an easy thing to experience in this third dimension. So yes, we invite you on board. If it resonates with you, you can just come for the workshop. If you want to come for a month, you can come for a few months. Whatever, the doors are open for you. Yes. But before we disconnect, because I've got to run to a client session in about 5 minutes, I want to give you a taste of the Lyran Avian frequency because we've been talking about it, we've been theorizing. Let's just experience it to wrap it all up. So I'm going to channel this Lyran Avian frequency in the light language. Aaron, if you can join in and send this frequency consciously at the same time. Okay. Just so you guys can taste it, can feel it, open yourself up, feel it through your body, through your consciousness. It's very subtle frequency, so it's not going to be like the Syrian frequency, which is like a ton of bricks and really strong, or Arcturian frequency, which can be really strong, or Dragon frequency. This is subtle. It's not the easiest frequency to connect to for the first time.
There's not many people out there connecting to and talking about the Lyran Avians, you see.
So you've got an opportunity to do it right now. So open yourself up, open your heart, open your energetic field. And I am just going to channel it now in a beautiful Lyran Avian Light Language. Marikila turusuri kila mara turudia da sekara murukuletia takasika maratera turusukeri malateka luduri kala sekera murukuletia sakamera taraseka la kurudia dia karamika la terasuru kuletia salamika la kasi ia tarakulu medieta sikara maraturu da dia sare kala turusukarida rasi era kulumera sira, la kulutia sara kulumana seya, tara sika tara suri, kera sika tara suri, era tara limala tara suri, tara sika la mele tara su, era lukula maria kala sika tara mare sia trusika la tia sakalita tara suru dia sara tia sa, era turulia tara sia ta kusukulia mala tara sia trusukule dia ta kasera, la dia turusure kala sakria mala ta si, era turula mara tersiero lo derisa, era tulo calamera tara suria dara sera, era tulutaria calamare te kulukule calamala te tulukule mara te su, kinuro dia dara kaina na mara kalati sukuretia kaladia tulusu, era talaria droloturia tara sira la ke turusu, mea karama, turusila da kase, turukulia mare te su, terasu, terasu. So just right now, as you integrating this frequency and you may be experiencing it, maybe some memories are coming back, I just want to close this space by removing any energetic ties, bonds, cords, any sorts of attachments that have been created between us, either consciously or unconsciously, so we all can come back to complete utter sovereignty as independent souls and beings. Thank you so much, Lyran Avians. Thank you so much, Aaron. Thank you so much, all the participants, for being here with us, experiencing this frequency. If you have any thoughts, any impressions, share with us in comments. It will be an absolute pleasure. And please subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't yet, if you're watching on YouTube. It will be an absolute honor to be serving you in this way. And hopefully we'll see some of you in the quantum portal. If this is something that resonates with you, you may want to join us within the Quantum Club and experience this 4-day workshop on the 10th of November. So always thank you. Incredible. Thank you.
Okay, take care. Thank you so much. Have a blessed day, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.